My stream? Am I live? Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. Let me put welcome everyone. And I'll also let everyone in the Discord know. Like now. Okay, so today's streams will be a short one. Yeah, hello everyone. And yeah, it's pretty much a way of trying to get on the algorithm good side by making content that is, well, kind of um, right now very popular. In this case, it's the movie Oppenheimer and the movie Barbie. So I was watching the trailer and I thought this part of the menu, or the title screen, was very easy to recreate in Unreal. So if you haven't seen the trailer, I'm gonna press play.
4, 3.
Truman is.
Yeah, and that's pretty much it. Like, it's just a flashing title, but the flashes, because it resembles a Geiger counter, are actually a little bit random. And also you can hear the Geiger sounds. What's called? The Geiger counter clicks. There it is. So I thought it was a fun project, especially because of it can really teach you a lot of UMG. So this is what we are going to do. I'll go to Unreal and show you what I have done. So hopefully you can hear it. Should be able to. Yeah, so it's the title screen, has the flashes, and also has the sound. And it only took me maybe to get it right and to get the sounds, etc. Maybe 40 minutes. So I was testing a lot of stuff, so for sure we can get it in even less time. But when I press enter, there it is, the Barbenheimer logo, and if you look closely, there are some sparkles in that Barbie logo, which is also done in UMG. Everything is being done in UMG. And yeah, let's create this in this stream. Yeah, it really shouldn't take that long. So yeah, I'll check the chat. If you have any questions, I'll also answer it. So let's see. Any questions? Hello, yeah, hello everyone. How is better, Unity or Unreal Engine? I don't know if that question is which one is better or which one is worse. Actually, they both serve their own purposes. Unity have a lot of tools for stuff, maybe for 2D, a lot of tools for stylized games, and Unreal also, but sometimes it's difficult to achieve some of the stuff that in Unity can do faster. But if you're creating 3D stuff, realistic stuff, or, well, any kind of next gen type of game, probably Unreal will be easier to achieve that type of result. But I would recommend you to try both and see in which one you are more comfortable. Yeah, by seeing in which one you are working faster, or maybe you're understanding it better, it will be easier to decide which one you should use. So yeah. It says, I don't like Unity. Well, me neither. I really don't like it. I'm of the understanding Unity is better for anime. Yes, kind of. There are a lot of plugins that help for that, for the development of anime stuff, anime style. But it's not exactly true because a lot of the last game I remember was one of the Dragon Balls was going to use Unreal Engine. There are a lot of also Korean games that use Unreal Engine, and you don't really think that, oh, it's your usual Unreal Engine game, but underneath the hood is Unreal Engine. Okay, so let's do what I just show you, like a title screen. Usually you should have like press enter to continue your game, right? So let's do that. Okay, so I'll be creating it from 0. So let me just create a new level. And well, before doing that, let me put a string marker. Okay, so let's begin. Let's create a new map. An empty level. And I will save it. Save current level as. So this level, I'll create a new folder. Call it stream because I have already done it once. Okay, so the new map will be my title screen map, or it can be main menu. I'll just call it title screen. Now, I want something to show as a title screen, so let me create a widget blueprint that it will be the widget blueprint that will house all of my text. And if I had image assets, then for sure I will get those too. So yeah, let's go to the user interface, widget blueprint. Let's call it widget blueprint title screen. Let's open it. And inside it is the user interface of the UMG editor. UMG is Unreal Motion Graphics and is the way that we can add some user interface to our game. In our case, if we wanted some text, we can just drag and drop some text, and here we have it. The thing with doing this is that I cannot rearrange this text. So if I want to simulate that I will have a screen, before adding the text, I should also add a panel. So let's go to the panel category, a canvas panel, and now I can drag and drop a text inside it, and I will be able to move it around. Now I want my text to be in the center, right? Because if you see my reference, the title is in the center. So here, let's go to the anchors, and I mean, we can put the text like roughly in the center, but the thing about this is that whenever my viewport scales, there will be a point whenever it scales so much that it won't be in the center. You may not see this type of bug if you're just developing for maybe PC, but there are a lot of types of PC. You can see here like all the resolutions that are the most common ones. So you should want to anchor your text to a point inside the screen wherever you will always know that it will be in the center. So that's why this is the anchor, and we can change it by clicking to any of these locations. And now if I hold Shift and Control, I will also update the position and alignment to match. So what this means, if I can align to the center, but you will see that my text is not actually moving places. But if I hold Shift and Control, now my text is following that anchoring. I mean, it's already following it, but it's also updating its position. I'm going to increase the size of this text to maybe 70. And in order for it to be in the center, if you see the constraints, the actual box constraint, it is in the center. But the text is too large, so let me increase that size by clicking in Size to Content. Now that bounding box actually is around my text. So yeah, perfect. Yeah, so maybe a size of 70, yeah, it's perfect. Now let's put the actual text, and the actual text is Oppenheimer. And you will see that there is some spacing between the letters. You can achieve this by going to the text, and here there's some letter spacing. So a value of 450 should be fine. Now, I mean, it would be a good idea to show the text and to also to change the font. So let's first show the text. I'm going to go back to the map that I just created. It's an empty map. Let's go to this button, which is the blueprint one, and let's open the level blueprint. In the begin play, I'm going to create a widget. And I'm creating a widget because this is a widget blueprint. So I want to show it. So this is making my title screen be created. But in order to show it, I need to put it in my viewport. So I will add it to the viewport. Now when I press play, I will see my text. And if for whatever reason I increase or scale my window, you will see that it stays on the center. Perfect. Now you will see that the font is not exactly the same, right? So to fix this, we just need to import a font. To import a font, you need to download the font. I look around internet and the font that it gave me was called, that this title used is called Gotham, I believe, Gotham Black, Gotham Bold, something like that. Gotham Bold, here it is. So you download it, usually it's free. It's a good idea if you're going to use this project to maybe start getting some money. It's a good idea to see what type of license it's revolving the font, because it's easy to get in trouble if you don't buy the font. So whenever you have the font, it's just a matter of importing it. To import it, we can just drag and drop it. And font face import options, it will tell me if I want to create a new font asset using this font face. I'll click yes, and now you will see these two files, Gotham Bold, the font face, and Gotham Bold font, the actual font. With these two files created, and let me save everything, we can go to our text and we can change this font family. So I will select my font face. Oh, I will select my other file, the font, and this Gotham Bold font, I'll click on the arrow to use it. So now it should be a little bit more similar, and everything here is in caps, so I should also do the same. Perfect. Now it's looking like the actual title screen. Now we have these numbers, and you will see that the spacing is very symmetric, right? If I have my trusty snipping tool, you will see that for one, there is a space here. The actual center of the screen is somewhere around here, and there's also a space between the numbers, and it's following some kind of rule or ruler that here the 7 and the 23 are not disregarding the actual size of the title. So you can identify this type of design patterns just by looking a little bit into the title text, right? So we need to be very, very careful and try to respect this. So what I'm going to do is create the text for the numbers, and because the text will be underneath the actual title, what I can do is create a panel called vertical box, and I want that panel to be around my first text. So I'll just click on my text and I'll click wrap with vertical box. You will see that nothing happened in my designer viewport, right? But in my hierarchy panel, there is a vertical box now. And whenever I add a new text, and I'm just going to duplicate this text, you will see that the center is being respected, and inside this vertical box, I can find the two texts. So that's good. Now let's try to add a space in between, because yeah, there is a space in between, like this one that we already determined. I could mess around with the padding, but I find it easier to go to the primitive category, and here in the spacer, I just need to drag and drop it inside my vertical box. Here's the spacer. Right now it has a value of 1. So let's just change the value. Here in size, in the details panel, we can change it to 60. And now with these arrows, we can move it where we need it. Now instead of just having Oppenheimer twice, we just need to put the numbers, which I believe was 19, 7, 21, 23. 7. Now I need numbers that also are spaced evenly in the horizontal axis. So what I can do now is click on this text, right click on it, wrap with, and the same way that we created a vertical box, we can create a horizontal box. And now it's just a matter of duplicating the number and changing the value. 21, 23. So here, let's change it to 21. And you can see that there's some spacing between the numbers, and the actual example doesn't have it. So now, let's just remove that letter spacing in all my numbers. Let's duplicate this one again. I'm using the shortcut Control D, and this should be 23. I need some space between these numbers, so again, I'll just drag and drop a spacer. I'll put the spacer where I need it, and I could play around the X size, but because I really don't know exactly how large is my screen or my viewport, what I can do is tell this spacer to try to occupy the most available space inside the actual component, which is right now a horizontal box. So with my spacer selected, I will go here to size, and instead of auto, I will click on fill. And fill will make it try to fill whatever space it has. This is very useful because if I duplicate the spacer, you will see that now the two spacers are trying to share the space that they have available. So I can move the second spacer to the right, and now I have these numbers evenly spaced just by using the fill value. This is very useful to try to organize your UI. Now, just in case my map was not like completely black, I will try to create here inside the vertical box. I'll drag an image that will serve as a background image. And I didn't want to create it inside the vertical box, just drag it on top of the canvas panel. Here it is. In anchors, hold Shift Control and click on this one. Now it's covering everything. I want to change the tint to black, and I want it to be in the background. So let's just drag and drop it, not on top of the vertical box, but just on top of it, on top, just above it. And now I have like a black screen with the actual title on it. So let's press compile, let's save it, let's press play, and here we have it. The title screen that I showed you, but we don't have any type of movement like in the demo that I show you. I'll show it again if you just enter in the stream. Here is, no, that's not it. Where's my map? Here, this one. We're trying to recreate this because that's how it appears in the movie.
Truman needs to know what's next.
Whoa.
Truman needs.
4,
There it is.
3,
Truman needs.
Yeah, so we need to have that, right? So we will be using some animations inside of the UMG editor. But before continuing with the animations, let me check if there are some questions in the chat. So let's see. Howdy. Hello everyone that just came to the chat. Are you running your menu through your game instance or are you making it standalone? So for this quick example, I'm just adding the menu through the level blueprint. So inside the level blueprint, I mean, you have a dedicated level for the menu, and inside of it, here it is. I'm just adding it to the viewport. And this is the other map, excuse me. This is not what I just created. This is what I just created. Here it is. No, this is not it. Here it is. Begin play, and we just add the menu. Mark the NPCs in the order in which they appear in the camera field of view. How? Not sure what you're referring to, but maybe you can leave that question in our Discord server. Hi, what's your streaming schedule right now? We actually don't have one. We try to let everyone know, like with a few days. In this case, I was going to make a little video about it, but I just figured I'll just live stream it. It will be easy for everyone, and I can get the content immediately out because it's kind of a time-sensitive content. And what better way to use that type of um, topic to learn something about Unreal and UMG, which is the way you can add user interface to the channel. What's up, Yunev? I love the channel. Thank you very much. We're glad that you are finding it very useful. And yeah, let us know in the comments of this video or in the chat any type of topic that you would like us to cover. We have covered a lot of topics, and if you haven't found them, well, we created a little website, well, a little space in our website called Game Dev Quest, where you can find most of our tutorials organized by topic. So, let's see, I want to learn some materials and VFX. You can click on this button, and it will show you the difficulty level and the content regarding materials, regarding VFX, simulations, environments. We have some environment physics, game mechanics that not that many people watch these videos. It's always makes me a little bit sad that no one watches it, but you can find them, and all of this is free content because it's the content that we already have in our YouTube channel, but sometimes they get buried. So yeah, if you want to find this, is unfgames.com quest. And if you are ready to have a deep dive on Unreal and want to create your own game, we also have this course that we are selling. If you go to our webpage, UNF Games, you will find the action game course. And here's like everything we have learned. We have tried to condense it in a single course where you can check out all the steps needed to complete an actual game. Right now it's in early access because we haven't actually finished the game yet. But I have it right here. These are currently the modules that exist from the project creation, creating interactive components. In this case, the GIF shows a door. Character locomotion has to deal with the animation blueprint. Create an enemy, creates a simple enemy that moves towards you and you can attack it. Command attack visual effects are a VFX part of the course, where you will see how to do the dash effect and also the slashes, which are very common. User experience deals with the sounds and some parts of UI that you can add in order to show how much life you have for the character. And yeah, there's a lot of stuff that you learn in this course. So I will also link to the chat. So let me put it like this. Learn to create an action game in Unreal Engine 5. I type it all wrong. To create and now let's continue. Yeah, I will see if there's any other question before continuing. Just here. Okay, let me pin this comment just in case, and now we continue. Okay, let's go back to development. So what I need to create now, if we go back to our source material, and let me add this, what we need to do now is the actual animation of the title and adding the sound.
4, 3.
So that's the animation that I want to create in my UMG title. Here is my title screen. So let's create the animation. Here you have the animation button, plus animation. And in new animation, I will put anim fade in, fade out. Now, I will click on the animation and you will see now that my viewport changes a little bit. Now it says selected anim fade in, fade out. This is happening because everything that we do now inside it will be taken in consideration for the animation, but not exactly the changes that we can do will not translate to the normal behavior of this text. So if we hide this text, then it will only happen in the animation, right? So I want to modify all the text here. So let me select this vertical box. I'm going to change it into a variable just in case, and I'm going to assign it a name. And I believe I don't really need to change it into a variable because I won't access this panel through the graph. So yeah, it's not really needed. Okay, so let's rename it to vertical box title. And with this vertical box selected, go to animations, click on your animation, make sure that you are inside the animation. And now let's add a track. If you selected the title, well, the vertical box, you will have it at the top. And now with the title, I can add a track, and in the track, I'll add render opacity. Now in the render opacity, let me change it to, no, it's good. 1 is fine. And at the end, I will put, not exactly at the end, but after 1 second, I'll create another key. If we press play, nothing is happening, but I want a fade in and a fade out. So at the middle, I will change this render opacity to 0.0 or just 0. 0 would work also. And now if we scrub the timeline, you can see that it's fading out, fading in and fading out. So let's press play, and there it is, our animation inside UMG. Now again, if I'm here but I deselect the animation, you will see that my title returns to the normal opacity. So that was what I was trying to convey to you, that it's important to know if you have an animation selected or not. Yeah, and you can deselect the animation by just clicking on an empty space here. Right, so we have the animation, so I wanted to play it. Okay, and it should be very simple. Let's go to the graph. And here I will create a custom event called play fade in out. Well, play fade in and out. Inside of it, I will get my animation and I will find it here under variables, animations. Let me drag and drop it, get it, and from here I'll put play animation. And I'm going to connect it. And in the animation, oh, and by the way, if the nodes are auto rearranging, is because I have this plugin called Blueprint Assist. And I will put never auto format. Okay, So if I want to play the animation, this node already does it for me. But I want to select how fast do I want to play the animation, right? Because I don't actually want it to be this speed. What do I mean by this? Is that for me right now, the animation is too slow. Oh, I created a new animation. Let me delete it. Yeah, right now it's too slow for me. So I can use the playback speed. Playback speed is a value that you can modify, and the fastest way to just understand it is normal playback speed is 1. If I wanted to play twice as fast, this will be 2. If I needed to play 4 times as fast, this will be 4. If I wanted half the speed, this will be 0.5. But sometimes it's easier to determine a time by just telling it, oh, I want it to last 1 second. I want it to last 2 seconds. Or maybe I want it to last 0.1 seconds. So what I will do is that translation. I will create a variable that it will be called, it's a float type of variable, so it's a decimal number, and this will be called animation length in seconds. And the math is actually pretty simple. Let me drag and drop my animation length in seconds. So because if I want it twice as fast, would be 0.5 seconds. You will see that by doing a rule of 3, it's actually very associated with the playback speed. What do I mean by this? Is that, let me do the math. We have it here. Okay, perfect. If it's 1 second, the playback speed right now, the length of the playback speed, the designer, the animation lasts 1 second. So pretty easy. 1 second is 1 second. But if it is the total, how do I put it? Okay, so 1 second of each one lasts 1 second. So this means that, oh, if I want it to last 2 seconds, I just need to divide this. So divided, this will give me 0.5. And this should be multiplied by 1, by this one. So 0.5 should be the playback speed value that I need for it to last 2 seconds. So yeah, it's a little bit of math, one of the simpler math in game development. So we just need to divide. And this should be 1. So 1 divided by the length in seconds that I want. Remember, if I put a 2 here, this will be 0.5. So it actually matches. And we can now determine which length do I want. And I will want maybe 0.1. Just so it's a lot faster, right? Okay, so with this, I have an event that plays an animation at the speed that I want. So let's just play it for now. I'll just make it loop forever, so 0. And in the construct, I will play fade in and out. And let me delete that tick because I don't really need it. Okay, so when this title screen gets created, it will start playing this fade in and out. So let's test it out. Here it is. Yeah, so it is working. It is fast enough as it is in the title screen, but you will see that there is a random pattern.
4,
So we need to recreate that type of random pattern. So that pattern, the way we can recreate it is actually not that hard. First, we need to wait between the intervals. So I cannot use this number of loops to play, sadly. So I will put a 1 here. I only want this to play once. In the event construct, I will create a timer. Let me delete this node. And in the construct, I will set a timer by event because I want this event to get played. So the way I can connect it is like this, but I don't really like long strings or, well, long wires. So I'll just put create event. And inside create event, I will select my play fade in and out. Perfect. So we need a time before this timer before this timer finishes and executes my play fade in and out. So I will want to create, if I just put here 0.1, it will be the same. Like every 0.1 seconds, it will play this animation, and if I put it looping, I will get the same result. But because I want it to be a little bit more random, what I'm gonna do is, from the time, I'm going to drag and drop a node called random float in range. A random float in range, in the minimum value, I'm going to promote it to a variable, minimum time, and in maximum time, again, I'll promote it to a variable and call it maximum time. And this will be maybe time to wait. It's a good idea to have longer names if it is easier to understand later what exactly does this variable do. In time to wait is the minimum time that it can randomize this value to. So I will put in this minimum time because maybe I want it to be fast sometimes. Let me compile so I can modify this default value. This will be 0.05. Time to wait 0.05. And the max time to wait will be 0.8. And you can tweak it around to your liking, right? So let me organize the nodes. And there they go. Now, this is going to play the actual animation once because nothing is telling it to loop it. And I only want to loop the animation after it has finished. Otherwise, it can be mid-animation and it will look very weird. So what I'm going to do with the animation, you can bind it. And you can bind to the animation finish. This is a way to know when does the animation has finished. Because right now, it could be 0.1 second, but this value can change. So again, I'll create an event here. And this event will be triggered whenever this animation finishes. So let's create a matching event. And this event, let's call it unfinished. Unfinished anim fade fade in and out. And inside it, I'm going to call the code to wait again a random time, right? So animation finished, anim fade in and out. Here it is. And because it's not a really good idea to just connect it like this, even though this is exactly what I want, what I'm going to do is disconnect this node from everything else, and I will create an event here. And I can't do it like that, so let's right click it again, create event without dragging it from here. And that's not what I needed. It was custom event, this one. Let's call it repeat animation at different times. And let's connect it like this. And the event construct will call that repeat an animation at different times. And also on finished anim fade in fade out, we'll also called repeat animation at different times. This makes it so whenever I need to add something here, everywhere else it will get updated because this is calling this event and this node is also calling this event. Now with this, let's save, compile, and then press play. You will have the flashing of the title at random times. And we're almost done. You can also play around with how long do you want that animation to last. For example, here I also want it to be 0. Just so it takes a little bit longer to appear. We can play with that and the curves. And the last thing that I need to do is to add the sound, because this trailer has the sound. The sound of the click of a Geiger counter.
5, 4.
Yeah, that sound. I got that sound here from Free Sounds, Geiger counter. If you have an account, you can register for free. I just downloaded it, and then it's a long file, so I just needed 1 click, or 2 or 3. So using this free also software called Audacity, what I did was just drag and drop my Geiger sound, which I should have here. And this is the whole file. And what I did was, well, increase this a little bit so I can see it better. Zoom in. You can also use this tool to zoom in or out. Now, I don't know how to zoom out. I'll just use Shift or Control. Oh, it was Control to zoom in and out. Okay, so with each one of these peaks, let me just go to the start. Okay, let's say I wanted this click. I can just select it. I can just go to File, Export, Export selected audio, and exporting it to a WAV, WAV or wave, is a good format for Unreal to read it. So I already have done it for the 3 clicks, for the first 3 clicks, and I imported it to Unreal. So I have them here in this folder. I have the 3 clicks. Let's go back to Unreal. Let's go to the content drawer, and I can just drag and drop the assets that we created in Audacity, and I'm going to close it. With the assets imported, what I can do is select them, right click, create a single queue, and this queue will be called sound queue Geiger counter click. Let's open it, and inside it, it has already created this code for me, which it was exactly what I needed. A random way of playing these clicks. And if I press play queue, you will see what's happening. Perfect. The volume multiplier, I'll put it at 0.2 because I couldn't hear it at first, like that clearly. But from here, this sound cue will already be done. So let's just close it, go to the title screen. I don't need to select the animation actually, so we can deselect it. And in the graph, when is it that it fades and appears is here in the played fade in and out. So I'm going to play animation, the audio here. So let's play it. Play a 2D sound because it's a type of menu sound that you don't really want to add some attenuation or spatialization. Like you don't want to hear this in the world. You just want to hear it as a normal UI sound. So play sound. Let's select the Geiger counter click that we already created, and we can click here in the arrow. Now we have it. I'm going to press F so we can the plugin can auto organize it for me, and when I press save and compile and play, you now will have the title screen with the animation and also the sound. So that's pretty much it. You now know how to create a title screen, and later on you can add some input so you can change the UI, right? Because this can work as a title screen. You press enter, and then you can go immediately to the main menu or immediately to a map. Yeah, and that's pretty much it for now. The last thing that I wanted to mention is that if you saw the start of the stream, you will remember that that was not the only logo that I created, or the only title screen that I created. I created, no, not this one, this one, which is the same. But if I press enter, it actually becomes a meme. And this Barbie logo has some flashes here, some flares that can appear randomly at 3 points. So yeah, it's a good addition, but it is using the same principles as the title screen that we just created. But if you would like to see the creation of this part, then yeah, give it some likes. Maybe if we got some, I don't know, what would be a good number? 500 likes. Should be easy to get, right? If we get that, I can do another stream and show you how did I create this that title screen, well, the whole title screen, which is here. I mean, there's a little bit more code, and there's an extra animation to change the title. And yeah, you also need to handle how to stop the title blink, which is also easy, don't worry. But yeah, give it some likes and we can, or well, I can know that there is interest to do a deep dive on this. So yeah, that will be it for this short stream. I just wanted to get it out of the way. Hopefully it was very useful to you. Let me see if there's some questions in the chat. If there aren't, then we can finish this stream and it finally is not a, a 3-hour stream like it usually is, where my throat gets completely destroyed. Yeah. Pretty cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff in UMG. So if this is something that you like, let us know also in the comments. Okay, thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.